Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm really glad that we get yet another day to discuss some things. So today, let me just put this down real quick. Okay. So today is going to be a really deep discussion, and those are like my favorite. Not to put like my emotions too much into this, but I really love it when conversations can get pretty deep. I think I've talked about this a couple of times on my channel prior about how I love when you meet once in a while people who can keep up with your depth, right? Or who can challenge your depth, your intellect, your oops, sorry. I do have an earpiece in today. Let me see if I can get you to listen to this. Hopefully you can hear that. Let me try one more time. Well, either way, I like to listen to hang drum when I talk sometimes because hang drum, if you haven't heard of hang drum, definitely look into it. Like, just go to YouTube and type in hang drum. That music is my favorite. And when I like to talk about deeply emotional subjects, I love listening to hang drum and binaural beats. So one time I was in a therapy session. This was after my divorce, and I really my therapist wanted to try these binaural beats on me. And at the time I had heard about them, but I had never committed to them or tried them religiously or anything like that. So every session for maybe a couple of weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, she would put the binaural beats on me and she would ask me questions. So they wouldn't be too loud. I could still hear what she was saying, but she would ask me questions that would mandate that I elaborate on my responses. And so I would, but it didn't even need to mandate that, because really when she asked a question and I was listening to music that really started messing with my brain waves in a good way, binaural beats helps the right and left hemispheres to cross paths so that they're constantly intertwining like that. Because otherwise they're pretty straightforward, like right and left is pretty black and white and logical, and they're working like they normally do. So to have the binaural beats kind of challenge the way that their waves are operating and have them cross each other it's like you'll be amazed by what can flow out of you. Anyways, so today I'm listening to hang drum though, because I'm about to talk about a really emotional subject, and I love getting deep. So let's get into it. So there is a phrase from an Egyptian proverb. Let me just make sure that I'm quoting this super right, because it's a good phrase. So it's so short, but okay. So whoever lets himself be led by the heart will never lose his way. That's the Egyptian proverb. And quite honestly, when I went to Egypt myself, they would have statues of a man with a dog head, and he would always have his left foot forward. And one of my tour guides had explained to me that the reasoning for the left foot forward is because it's your heart side, and it's that you're leading with your heart. So there's a difference between phrases when people say follow your heart or lead with your heart. Because should you always follow your heart? Well, your heart could want a lot of different things, if we're talking about it in that sense, it's more than likely emotional based. And that's not always a good thing. Should you always follow your emotions? No. No, you should not. Those cannot be trusted. But to lead with your heart is kind of implying a deeper sense. Like, to lead with your heart means that your life is always following a genuine direction, an authentic direction, instead of you following something that's false or something that goes against who you are deep down inside, who your heart knows that you are, right? And it's like you can feel things that tug at you. that's what's so amazing about this life, is that our intuitions are extremely, like, they're so precious, because you have no idea what life can surprise you with. And it's not until you can let go of that logical thinking. You need that logical thinking sometimes, right? Because we're not all living like up here all the time in like this gray matter where like life can be floaty and spiritual and whatever woo-woo stuff. I love it. I love all that stuff. It's just that we also have a body, and we have a house or apartment or whatever we're living in, and we have like we have to make money, and we have to drive our cars, and we have to like think logically for those things. So we are not just up here, we are also here. And so it's really important to integrate everything. And so the thing I love most about our intuition is that it's like this spiritual part of us. I say spiritual, but it's just this like invisible part of us that really, like, if you allow it, it'll pull you in directions that make life the most adventurous and fun and impassionate lifestyle ever. Did I say that right? Because there is a difference. Okay, yeah. So impassioned means that you're in passion, like the feeling is in you. You are the feeling of passion. You are passion. The word passion just means it's a feeling that you have. But impassioned means that the passion is in you, right? And that is you. I said that wrong then, because impassionate means that the passion is not in you. You have no passion. It's so weird. So impassioned means that you are living, or that you are embodying passion. Passion means that you have a feeling of, wow, like of passion. And then impassionate means that you are without passion. So I don't want to get those wrong. So what I meant to say was impassioned. So anyways, it's like the English loving side of me coming out. But when you live a life that is impassioned, it's the most sensual and sensational life. I feel like it's like the way of being fulfilled 100%. And it's not just about you, and it's not just about me. It's that when we each are able to live in that impassioned spot, like when we are able to be impassioned, that means that it's in every single person's best interest almost all the time. So it's like it comes from a place of the heart, right? It's not about like, hey, I really want to go out drinking tonight, so I'm going to go have fun and feel my best self. No, because that's like more of a selfish self, and that's more surface leveled. It's okay to do that. I don't care. I don't judge. I don't care. But what I mean by like impassioned, what I mean by like following your heart, is that the heart, it's like this pure thing. It's like this, I know that when you create something good, you also create its opposite. So what you create as good is also coming out as bad. Don't get the two mixed up, because you can't create something good without creating something bad. If you want to invent something and have it mass produced, you are also creating something bad for the environment that now you have to clean up, right? And so it's not a one-way street like that, but I promise you that humanity as a collective is better when each person is able to allow themselves to lead with their heart. And if you look at that phrase, it says, whoever lets himself be led by the heart never loses his way. You have to let it. So how do you know like what your intuition is? How do you know when something's pulling at your heart? Here's how. So when I was little, I went to a boarding school because my behavior as a child was way not okay. Like my attitude towards life was like, I'm just gonna go after it and be spontaneous and impulsive, and if someone makes me mad in my household, I'm gonna yell at them. And like, it was like passion to the max all the time. Not impassioned, just passion in all areas of anger, of happiness, of sadness. Like, it was extreme everything. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I did get sent to a boarding school for that kind of behavior. And the boarding school, like the industrial side of it, sorry, I got something going on right here. Okay, the industrial, like coming from an organizational standpoint, it probably was not the best solution for a child. But here is where I learned counseling and I learned therapy. And at 11 years old, it's like, that's empowering and it's deep. It's so deep. I learned how to write and I love writing. Then throughout my life, we went to family counseling a few times a couple years later, and I met a family counselor and I was like, man, these counselors, like, I just love the therapy field. I just love counselors and therapists. So I just, that like tugged at my heart. And then I would read books from clinical psychologists and clinical psychiatrists. And I loved reading that stuff. It like tugged at my heart, right? And so then like years later, I was working in real estate at one point as a realtor. And I kept seeing these little pyramids everywhere I went. One time I was on a run and it was very early in the morning and it was darker. And I looked up, and on top of this house, I could have sworn it was just a pyramid, like a gold tip of a pyramid. And I was like, okay, that's it. I kept seeing pyramids everywhere. And now it's like, I know it's not a pyramid, but it looked like one and it looked gold. And I took it as my sign, like, I have to go to Egypt to see those pyramids that I've always wanted to see. And so it's like, when things continuously, and some people will say it's a synchronicity, but when they continually pull at your heart and you allow them to, like, because, you know, if you told a friend that, a friend might be like, what? Like, yeah, you're seeing pyramids everywhere because you're always thinking about it. That's stupid and it's impulsive, and don't do that kind of thing where you just like go off with whatever. But if you don't tell that friend and you don't say it to anybody else, quite honestly, hold those inside of you. Hold those as secrets that are very dear to your heart, because that is your heart's essence talking to you. And so we have to learn and train ourselves not to listen to those people out there who tell us that those dreams are bizarre or way out there, or that it doesn't make any sense. And you know, in my heart, I just knew it. I had no doubts that this was my chance to go. And everything was clear on my schedule, and so I booked it. And I went 2 weeks later, my plane took off, and you know what? When I booked it, it was COVID. I had no idea what you had to do to get on a plane in the middle of COVID. But it was so crazy because I didn't even know you needed a visa, right? Like, I mean, that's how inexperienced I was traveling all on my own like that. I guess I just never ran into that before. So anyways, everything fell into place. I saw something about a visa while I was searching Google one time, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I need a visa. And I did. So I applied for one just in time because it takes a couple days to process. Then my sister happened to come over one day and said, I can't get into Hawaii because I needed a COVID test and those tests aren't coming back quick enough. So now I can't get in. And I was like, I wonder if I need a COVID test. And I did. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound that impressive, but like everything just fell into place once I took that risk, once I took it as my sign. And it just so happens that I saw those signs just after I read the Paulo Coelho book. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about a boy who journeys his way to the pyramids in search of a treasure. And the journey was just this magical, amazing experience, but horrible, but like amazing things that he encountered on the way. And I just like that. I've read that book so many times, listened to it on Audible. And when I was cleaning my house, when I just moved in here, I was, like when you first move in a house, you want to clean it all up and get everything your way. Well, while I was doing all of that, I was re-listening to that book, and then I started seeing pyramids everywhere. It was like that's your sign. Things tug at your heart, right? And you have to let them, allow them to. That's called receiving mode by some spiritual activists. They really emphasize that you can't close those off. And some people would close those off and say, nah, I'm being ridiculous. How many times have I done stuff like this and I was wrong? Or how many times have I'm never in a good position, or I'm never doing the right thing, or, that's shame. And so we can't let the shame overtake us. So you have to allow yourself to be open to it. And that's a battle. And it happens during love too. If you meet somebody and you really love them so much, but maybe you have a fear of abandonment, like a lot of us do. And so we kind of close ourselves off a little because we think it might be better to just block them out, or make them try harder, or make them do all the work, because then I'm not at such a loss. Then I won't be so hurt if they choose to abandon me. But that's not opening to love. That's not opening to the universe's surprises. And I think the goal here then, to really, really lead with your heart, not just follow your heart, but to lead with your heart in life, is to keep it open. So it would be absolutely 110% necessary to keep your heart open to the things that really tug at it. And that's how you will discover so many amazing things in life. I am not kidding. Some things will hurt you. Like some things are not permanent, right? So if that love choice of yours is good for you in the moment, like maybe not in the moment, is good for your situation that you're in right now. Maybe that person is challenging you to step out of your comfort zone and do something with your life that you've always wanted to do. Maybe that relationship won't last forever, but right now, that's maybe what you needed. And maybe you needed that person to come along right now and push you into that position. And that's good for you. And so it's important to not get mad if in a month they're gone, right? Because they did something good. Like you were able to take that energy from that person and kind of alchemize it. The book was called The Alchemist. I just remembered it. But you were able to alchemize it into an energy that served you, that boosted you into a different part of life. Maybe not with the person, but it doesn't matter. Like you have to look at it for the greater good of yourself, of your life. And so allow things to tug at your heart, because man, you will be so surprised by life. And as long as you're not like attached to how it's going to end or how it's going to turn out, like if you only take the advice from that person while they're with you, and then one day they leave you and you're like, frick it, like everything that I just accomplished, I'm going to throw it all away because that person made me so hurt and I don't want to open up my heart anymore, and I don't want to finish these projects anymore because they're not with me. Well, like that, you have to keep your heart open. Keep it open. See the good in every situation that you've been through. And it doesn't matter if there is good there or not good there. Find good. Find some way to structure your sentences so that it turns it into seeing good in your circumstance, so that you're not pushing yourself down or putting yourself down or making yourself feel bad that things didn't go as you wanted, right? Because just allow and be open and receive. And it is harder than it sounds. And so if you need a boost, don't forget to pray. And that word, it's like, it makes me think of religion because I was born into a religious family. So pray is not an easy word for me to say, but I really encourage you to. I'm not religious, but I know that there is something bigger than me out there because I felt it after I prayed. And whether that's the truth or whether it's just that I shifted my intention, or that maybe I asked for help from something and something heard me, it doesn't matter. what it is. I'm going to create my own story for it. I know for a fact that prayer has done me very well throughout my life. And especially though recently when my intentions have been there, have been genuine, have been embodying my prayers, then I know for a fact it's working. So pray and don't be like shy about it. If you need some help right now, then pray for that. Pray for it right now. In the next 24 hours, I pray for whatever. And let the universe bring it to you in the form that it believes that will be the most beneficial to you. If you need help in some area, let the universe bring it in. Maybe you were like, oh, I thought it was going to be from like a therapy firm. I thought you were going to drop a business card my way. Well, maybe the universe sent you a friend who has a lot of wisdom, or somebody or something to put in your house that could bring you a lot of different energies, or just let the universe handle it. You ask, you receive, that's it. So hopefully this helped, but just let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your stories on this, and it would make a great discussion. If you do need a little help, a little boost, a little support right now, leave that in the comments too, because we are all here for you. And I think that that's the biggest bonus of this channel, is that you could be open and nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's going to like punish you or have a punishing attitude towards you. This is an open community, and I will make sure to instill a sense of confidence and support into the comments no matter what's going on. So please do leave a comment, then like, share, and subscribe. I will see you next time. Goodbye.